Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling one of the biggest, most disruptive stories happening in culture right now. We're talking about the incredible collision between artificial intelligence and the world of art. And really, this one comparison kind of says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the tension at the heart of the whole AI art debate. You've got a lifetime of human effort on one side versus the insane, almost instant power of a machine on the other. Okay, so let's really get into this. So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the anatomy of a human artist, then look at the rise of the algorithm, the crisis that creates, how they might actually partner up, and finally, we'll ask that big question, what even is an artist anymore? All right, first up, the anatomy of an artist. Because, to really get a grip on the challenge AI poses, we first have to understand what it means to be a human artist in the first place. I mean, just look at someone like Picasso. This timeline, it's not just a list of styles, it's a map of his entire life. His journey took decades. You can literally see his life events in the art. His blue period was born from tragedy and pain. Then he shifts into the rose period, and that reflects a new love in his life. Every single phase, from Cubism to Surrealism, was a years-long process of struggling, learning, experimenting, and it was all driven by his actual lived experience. And that whole journey, that relentless push to get better, is fueled by something that psychologists call a growth mindset. It's basically the belief that your abilities aren't set in stone. It's the engine of creativity, really. That drive to just keep going, to learn from your mistakes, and to never stop honing your craft. Okay, so that's the human side. Now let's bring in the challenger, the algorithm. And you're about to see it works on a completely different timeline. I mean, look at this. The process seems almost ridiculously simple, right? It's such a stark contrast to Picasso's decades-long journey. You just type in what you want, click a button, and boom, there's an image. But the real artistry, the new human skill, is hiding in plain sight, right there in step one. And that skill has a name, prompt engineering. This is where the artist, and I use that in quotes for now, guides the AI with incredibly specific language. They're using tools you've probably heard of, like Midjourney or DALL-E, and they're not just typing a cat. They're crafting these detailed commands, specifying the style, the composition, the colors, even using special characters to structure the command just right to get the perfect image. So you can see what's happening here. You've got these two worlds colliding, the slow, messy, lifelong human journey on one side, and the clean, instantaneous algorithm on the other. And yeah, as you can probably guess, that collision has sparked a massive, and I mean massive, debate. Which brings us to a question that really cuts right to the core of this whole thing. Does a prompt have a soul? Think about it. A human artist puts their joy, their pain, their entire life into their work. But can a string of text commands, no matter how beautifully written, ever really have that same soul? And a lot of critics are saying, no, absolutely not. People like Eric Reinhardt argue that AI art, even when it's stunningly beautiful, is ultimately uninhabited. It's missing that human connection to real life, to struggle, to desire. It can copy a style perfectly, but can it ever truly carry the spirit of the person who created it? And look, this isn't just some abstract philosophical debate. This is getting real, fast. It's spilling into courtrooms. It's creating chaos in creative studios. It raises these huge, urgent questions about copyright. Like, were these AI models illegally trained on millions of artists' work without their permission? And then there's the really scary question for artists. Will I be devalued? Will I be replaced? The stakes here are just massive, and it's being taken very, very seriously. Just look at this. The U.S. Copyright Office launched a whole initiative to figure this out. And when they asked for public comments, they got over 10,000 of them. This is not a niche problem. You've got huge companies like Getty Images suing AI firms, and these lawsuits are literally challenging the entire foundation of how these things are even built. But what if we're looking at this all wrong? What if the future isn't a battle, but a partnership? Let's explore that idea for a minute.
Because there's this other way of looking at it, which is that AI isn't here to take your job. It's here to be a tool, a really, really powerful tool that can boost human creativity, almost like a new kind of creative partner.
And this is already happening. All over the world, creative professionals are using AI right now. They're using it to smash through creative blocks, to brainstorm ideas at a speed that was just impossible before. We're talking architects coming up with wild, surreal building designs in minutes. Jewelers creating an entire new product line in a single afternoon. It's a game changer for workflow. So what does that mean for jobs, for people's livelihoods? Well, the economic analysis seems to back up this idea of collaboration. A big report from Goldman Sachs predicted that, yeah, about a quarter of creative jobs are at risk, but the vast majority, almost 3/4, won't be replaced. They'll be complemented by AI. The human will still be in charge. And it seems like the public kind of feels this way too. When Pew Research asked people about AI-generated images, most of them called it an advancement. But here's the interesting part. They called it a minor advancement, not a major one. That kind of lukewarm feeling suggests that people see this as just another tool, not a complete takeover. It points to a future of coexistence. Okay, so after looking at all that, we're back where we started at that central question. But hopefully, we now have a much clearer picture of what's going on. When you put them side by side like this, it's pretty clear, right? On one hand, you have the human artist, driven by passion, resilience, by life itself. And on the other, you have the AI process, which is all about executing instructions and synthesizing data. They're just fundamentally different ways of creating something. And maybe that's the real point. This whole debate forces us to ask ourselves what we truly value in art. Is it just the final image, the thing we see on the screen or on the wall? Or is it the human story behind it, the struggle, the joy, the lifetime of effort that poured into his creation? So what is an artist then? Is it the hand that holds the brush? Or is it the mind that guides the tool? That question is going to define the next chapter of human creativity. And it leaves us wondering where that line between artist and tool is even drawn anymore, or if, in this new age, we even need to draw a line at all.